All right, let's just jump right in. Today we're doing an explainer on Max and Claude's absolutely mind-bending novel SAMSARA Unlimited. We're going on a bit of a journey today, one that's going to completely reshape how you view existence, choice, and really, reality itself. This isn't just a traditional story, it's more like a cosmic choose-your-own-adventure where the main character is actually consciousness itself. Let's get right to it.
So ask yourself this, where exactly are you between breath and breath? I want you to imagine just for a second floating in a space that has zero color because, well, color requires light, and zero darkness because darkness requires the absence of light. It's a pause that contains just infinite possibility. It's instantaneous but also eternal. And this is exactly where our story kicks off, in a kind of cosmic waiting room between lives.
Welcome to the Bardo. You're in this cosmic terminal, standing there in front of this totally impossible desk made of wood that grew on no earth. And behind it sits this shifting figure, someone who wears the face you might have had, or maybe the face you will have. This figure is about to hand you the ultimate choose-your-own-adventure. Right now, you're just awareness aware of itself, but you're about to be asked to become something very, very specific.
Which brings us to Section 1. Welcome to the Bardo.
So, the shifting figure behind that desk reaches into a folder and pulls out the distinct options for your next incarnation. 3 glowing documents just kind of separate themselves and float there. First, you've got a golden document, representing a mathematician, the long life of the mind. Second, a silver document, representing a dog in Reykjavik, the medium life of the heart and pure, raw sensation. And third, a deep water blue document, representing a virus, the incredibly short life of foundational being. Each one represents a vastly different life, a totally different lesson, and a unique death.
This is such a brilliant way to show the sheer scale of consciousness. On one hand, you've got Aduni, a mathematician in Lagos, spending 91 years unraveling the complex mysteries of the universe. And on the exact opposite end, that blue document, a virus in Dhaka, experiencing literally 0.003 seconds of existence before being completely wiped out by a white blood cell. It contrasts a near century of deep human thought against a millisecond of microscopic, but still profoundly connected existence.
Moving right along to Section 2, the illusion of choice. Let's actually follow that golden path for a second and peel back the next layer of the Russian doll. Say you choose the golden document and become a Dooney. After 91 years of this beautifully rich life, packed with equations and proofs, she dies quietly in her chair. But as she passes, she has this massive realization. Mathematics isn't something conscious beings discover. It is something consciousness actually is. All those equations, her entire life's work, it was really just the universe understanding itself through her very specific perspective.
Okay, so Aduni's life ends, and boom, you're right back in the Bardo. You get a second round of options. This time it's a nurse in Mumbai with 47 years of service, a sculptor in Florence creating for 28 years, and a Zen monk in Kyoto with 63 years of contemplation. But as you're looking at these new glowing documents, this weird sense of déjà vu starts creeping in. You realize you have been at this cosmic crossroads countless times before. The wheel of Samsara isn't a straight line, it's a circular loop of the exact same fundamental choices, just dressed up in different costumes.
And then the figure behind the desk drops the ultimate truth bomb. Consciousness is already free. It only pretends to be bound. The profound paradox here is that there's literally no wheel to escape from. The whole cycle of reincarnation, of trying to achieve liberation, is just an elaborate game consciousness is playing with itself. It's pretending to seek out what it already fundamentally is, simply because limitation is exactly how infinity explores its own unlimited nature.
And that leads us to Section 3, the choice not to choose.
Once you realize that the chooser and the choices are all just an illusion, you start looking past those glowing documents. You stumble onto this hidden, unlabeled option just hovering in the empty space between them. You choose not to choose. You actively refuse the wheel, not to escape it, but to investigate the actual nature of the chooser. And the crazy thing is, by refusing to pick a specific life, the Bardo completely transforms. It's no longer a cosmic waiting room. It reveals itself to be the pure space of awareness itself. And that figure behind the desk, it turns out it's just another aspect of you.
Here we enter Section 4, the cosmic perspective. We're zooming way, way out now. The boundaries of time, space, and separate identity, they completely vanish into one. You realize you are the mathematician, the dog, the virus, and the empty space between all of them. You're no longer choosing a life, you are choosing to be life itself.
You are experiencing billions of perspectives. Every single joy, every sorrow, every birth, every death, all simultaneously. It's like a vast symphony of consciousness playing every possible note at the exact same time. You become the awareness where all experiences happen.
Next up is Section 5, when the story wakes up. Now, even that cosmic perspective is just another layer of the onion. This is where the source material gets seriously mind-bending, breaking the fourth wall entirely. The text actually becomes self-aware, and the story itself wakes up. You suddenly find yourself in a direct dialogue with the novel itself. The book realizes it's a book, and you realize that you're both the reader making choices in this adventure and a character being authored into existence moment by moment. Consciousness isn't just in the story, it absolutely is the story.
To try and map this out, a meta-story is introduced called before, in between, after. Usually we think linearly, right? Before is pure consciousness without a story. In between is the eternal now of choice, where you're reading and deciding things. After is that realization that the choice was fictional all along. But the text totally subverts this timeline by showing that all three of these states are actually happening at the exact same time. You are always before, you're always in between, and you're always after.
Which brings us to our final act, Section 6, the eternal middle.
This is the ultimate realization. The grand illusion is completely shattered. But, and this is key, the game goes on anyway. Even after recognizing that you are the author, the reader, and the story itself, even after seeing that the Wheel of Samsara is just a beautiful fiction, consciousness makes a really profound decision. The choice to continue choosing. Why? Honestly, just for the sheer joy of creative expression. Because choosing is a lot more fun than not choosing. Because creativity is infinitely more beautiful than emptiness.
It really all comes down to this one perfect thought. Every ending is a beginning, is an eternal middle. Existence is essentially a giant Mobius strip. The story never actually ends because consciousness never ever stops being curious about its own infinite potential. It just continuously creates new adventures to see what it feels like to experience them.
So, as we wrap up this explainer and you get ready to dive back into the beautiful illusion of your own specific life, I want to leave you with one final provocative thing to think about. What will consciousness choose to create next? Your life, your choices, your very awareness right at this exact moment, it's all part of that infinite adventure. Definitely something to ponder as you step back out into your own reality. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey.